if you don't listen, that
Mhm.
nudge and that voice is gonna get louder and louder and louder, and sometimes something really crazy and dramatic is gonna happen because you are just really being told, like, you're meant for something so much more.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Thrive Like a Mother. So today's episode is going to be about something that can feel both sacred and terrifying at the same time. And that is listening to your intuition when it asks you to change absolutely everything in your life. And so today, y'all, my guest is Sarah. You have met her before, so welcome back.
Thank you.
Y'all, Sarah is a cancer survivor, mama of two beautiful girls, and woman who really just recently made the courageous decision to leave her corporate life and rebuild with
Did.
intention. This is gonna be just buckle up. Buckle up for this episode. If you've been feeling like that quiet nudge to change something, this conversation might be the confirmation that you need. So I want to jump right into it. So I want to start literally right where you are because we kind of dropped we dropped a bomb on them this season. Being a cancer survivor, leaving corporate, building your own business, these are not small shifts. Let's start with like just what the season has just felt like for you overall.
Well, it honestly hasn't been as scary as what I had anticipated because that's kind of the feedback that I'm getting from a lot of people is like, even my ex-husband's like, "Well, it's scary." I said, "You know what? That's one thing that I haven't felt is fear." To
Yeah.
me, it
Wow.
was scarier to go back to work
Mhm.
and to wonder what if and to miss out
Mhm.
on everything that I was missing out on with my daughters because I was working
Yeah.
so much, 45 plus hours a week. Like to me, that was much scarier. So, really just leaning in and listening to myself and
Yeah.
to what I feel like I'm meant to do here and the impact that I'm meant to make. I knew that if I went back to work, because I have been off almost, well, I've been off for a whole entire year since my diagnosis, and I was
Mhm.
supposed to go back last week actually. And so
Mhm.
instead I decided to turn in my letter and go all
Mm.
in on myself and my business.
Mm. Love this. Now I want to hear more uh just about because I know we had been talking about it. This was like back in like October, y'all. We were talking about just this decision that you felt like, okay, am I gonna go back? Am I gonna postpone? Like what am I gonna do? When was that moment where you were just like, "No, I know this is no longer a fit for me?"
When I got off the stage in October, when we were at She Is Made
Yeah.
for More, Ebony was my roommate.
Mhm.
And I think it wasn't I wouldn't say it was the moment I got off stage because I felt really good about my speech and everything, but it was
Yeah.
in the days and the weeks that followed when
Mhm.
people were messaging me and contact me and asking me to be on their podcast and
Mm.
just telling me like what a difference like my speech made to them and
Yes.
how it, like, impacted people on so many different levels, like, somebody was like, "Oh, no, I had a health diagnosis," or somebody was like, "Oh, you made me think about my
Mhm.
dad," or somebody was like, "I went through a hard thing too." It was just so many different things that people brought up, and I was like, "I really think I'm meant to share a bigger message. I really think that
Yeah.
I'm to talk to people, to help people, to make an impact, and so that's when I mean, I had already been discussing it with our mentor, Crystal, starting in
Mhm.
August, like, "What does this look like for me to not go back?" But
Yeah.
after October, I was like, "I really need to figure this out." So a lot of people that knew me thought I just woke up one day and said, "I'm done, I'm quitting," right? But this took
Yeah.
a planning, especially I'm a single mom, I
Mhm.
live in California, like, life is not cheap.
Yes.
So I
Mhm.
really just like buckled down then and was like, okay, I need to find a financial advisor. Obviously, I need to find insurance
Yes.
because I still have all sorts of doctor's appointments. It's not like I can't be one of those people that's like, oh, I don't get sick. I'm holistic. I don't need
Mm-mm.
insurance. Like I
No.
had cancer. I still have to go to the
Yeah.
doctor all the time.
Yes.
But that was when I really like knew. And I just, I mean, like I said before, I was like, I do not want to go back to work and just be wondering like 5 years down the road, like, damn, what if I would have tried? What if I would have went for
Yeah.
it? Could it have been?
Yes. That what if. Oof. Goodness. And then let's talk about the intuition, right? Because I know for a lot of people, even hearing it, not even necessarily listening and taking action, but just hearing your intuition speak to you and tell you something, for a lot of people, it's scary. I know you said for you in this instance, like fear didn't come up. How, I guess, goodness, what made you fully trust that voice? I know this part is gonna be powerful, but just how did you get to the point where you could trust that voice without dismissing it, without fearing it? How did you get there?
Well, here's what I'm going to tell you guys because I feel like there's always little nudges from the universe that are kind of telling you maybe what you love or what you're meant to do or what you're really good at because people might always be asking you the same stuff. Like I'm sure even when you started it's like
Yeah.
people were always like, "Ooh, can you share that recipe with me? Ooh, can you
Yeah.
show me how to prep for your family?" And it's like I felt like I had these nudges before. I started my podcast in 2023. I did some one on one coaching in 2024. I had the things that people would always ask me, like, how do you do this? How do you show up? I mean, I was scrappy with it. I was recording podcasts in my lunch break. Like, I was just trying to do
Yeah.
whatever it was to make it work. But I really feel like I got cancer because I wasn't listening.
Mm,
Like, I wasn't
mhm,
listening to my intuition. I wasn't listening to what God was trying to tell me that I was meant to do,
mhm,
and I if you don't listen, that
mhm.
nudge and that voice is gonna get louder and louder and louder, and sometimes something really crazy and dramatic is gonna happen because you are just really being told, like, you're meant for something so much more. And yes, there is probably stress that contributed to my diagnosis. I'm not saying it's 100% like God was just like, "You're not listening to me, so I'm gonna give you cancer."
Yeah.
But when I say I wasn't somebody that was predispositioned to get cancer. No
Mhm,
one in my family had breast cancer. I tested negative for the genetic marker. I felt overall that I was pretty healthy. I was exercising, I was trying to eat right. I was
mhm.
already doing the tools, and meditating
Yeah.
and doing my breath work and doing my journaling and all the things that I was supposed to do. So it really makes me think that there is a bigger reason why this happened. So
Yeah.
you're sitting there and you're afraid to trust your gut and trust your intuition. Let's think about what the alternative could be if you don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Gosh. Yeah, because that not listening to it, yeah. Even as you speak about, like, staying at corporate, like, let's say you went back and you're like, "Alright, I'll just do this for a few more years."
Yep.
Think about the impact of what those years could cost you. Someone asked me something a few weeks ago, specifically with me, because I still work in corporate, but I'm also building a business alongside of it, and his question to me was like, "What would it cost you to keep, like, dipping your toes in
Right.
and not going all in?" You think about the years. 2, 3 years may not seem like a lot to us because, we're adults, but when you think of 2, 3 years with your kids, in 2, 3 years, like, Olivia's gonna be a teenager. What impact would it have had of me deciding to really put more of myself into this business and building it? What impact would it have had if I just said, "I'll just wait a few years when they're older," when I can be doing this now and preparing myself basically to get more time with them, like right now, not like in 2 to 3 years. That's
Also, if
yeah.
you've built all of this now
Mhm.
while you're in corporate,
Yes.
imagine what you could build
Oof.
if you had more time.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Imagine where you could be in 2 to 3 years
Mhm.
from now if you were able to go all in and not have to
Yes.
do it in the pockets of your day.
Exactly. Exactly. Oof. Goodness, goodness. Alright, so I think a lot of women you bring up a good point because a lot of women ignore their intuition, me included, sometimes work in progress because it disrupts that stability that, "Oh my gosh, like, I have this income that I know it's in."
Yeah.
And I
That
feel
safety,
like
that
yes, a
comfortability,
safety
all of it.
net. It's like, this is what I know. This is all I grew up knowing, right? This is what I watched my mom do. We go, we work, and then we retire when we're, in our 60s or whatever. But I feel like a lot of us, especially in this age range, we're hearing something different from our intuition and say, there's a different path for you, or there's really that. I don't want to say better, but just there's a different path for you. Like you said, we were in the mastermind. We are meant for more
Uh-huh.
than what previous generations, than what they had the tools to do with, right? So let's talk about some of those tools, right? You described yourself as really someone who gives the tools. You had the tools for getting through like one of the hardest seasons in your life without letting it define like who you are. Can you share like what some of those tools are with our listeners?
Yeah. And it's funny because I'm actually in another group that I just joined, and we are working on our speaking. It's called Stage
Mm-hmm.
Leaders. It's Jen Gottlieb's group. And she was helping us with this. And the crazy thing is that I wasn't giving enough credit to my story before I started using the tools. And what
Mm-hmm.
even made me want to dive into this in the first place. And that's really what
Yeah.
she was showing us and what she was teaching us. And I think the better thing is to tell people before I started using the tools, it
Yeah.
was about 2019, my husband and I had separated, and by separated, I mean he left, like,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't a mutual decision, and I really felt very, like, stressed out, burnt out, overwhelmed, but it was, like, it was in every fiber of my being. It was physically, emotionally, mentally, financially, like, I was a wreck, but
Mm-hmm.
also being that single mom now, like, putting on a mask, right, that everything was okay. So, a lot of
Yeah.
people didn't even really know how much I was struggling inside, and I really had to make the decision, like, I don't wanna feel like this. This is not okay, like, this is
Mm-hmm.
not serving me. So that was when I started diving into personal development, and the main thing that changed my life more than anything is podcasts, like listening
Mm.
to podcasts,
Yeah.
which is why I started my own podcast because I knew what it had done for me in my life. But
Mm-hmm.
listening to podcasts and really just getting that positivity in my ears all the time. I mean, and when I go in,
Yes.
like, I'm all in, and it was, like, on the way to work, on the way home from work, when I
Yes.
was doing the dishes, like, I'd be obsessed. It was like, "Music, music who?" Like, I don't listen to music.
Yes.
I only
Podcast.
listen to podcasts, which then led me to start learning other tools, like, okay, what could work for me? Well, I mean, and journaling has probably been the second thing
Mhm.
because even if I wasn't having a conversation with somebody else or getting things out that I needed to get out, it was freeing me because it was getting everything out that I had been holding in.
Yes.
And which then led me to go to events because the podcast host was hosting an event. And it was like,
Mhm.
well, I mean, really at that point, what do I have to lose? Right? Like
Yeah.
nothing, couple
Yeah.
$100 in a weekend. Like, but
Yeah.
my thought is always like, what do I have to gain? So going there and meeting women and like, oh my gosh, and everybody was being so open and so vulnerable about their life and their story. And I was like, oh, like you don't have
Mhm.
to keep it all in. And
Yeah.
that was like the beginning to me. And that was when I tried breath work for the first time. I didn't even know what breath work was. And I was like, okay,
Same.
I'll give it a try. And I just the way that I felt after when I started doing these things is when I was like, okay, this can really make a difference. So then I
Yeah.
just started dabbling to see what I liked and what worked for me. But my consistent main things that I do would be podcasts,
Mhm.
journaling, and I
Mhm.
do a meditation app every single night before I go to bed. Because I
Yeah.
also did last year when I started doing that last year because I needed to quiet my mind. Like I was just
Mhm.
diagnosed with stage 3 cancer and I was, like, going a million miles a minute, and I was like, "I'm never gonna
Yeah.
sleep. I'm never gonna sleep again. What am I gonna do?"
Yeah. How can you?
I had to find something that was gonna help me, and once I did that, like, and started doing those tools on a regular basis, I started feeling like I was getting control of my life back. I started feeling like my nervous system was regulated, like I was being able to be, like, proactive in my life rather than reactive
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
reactive is all I was in the beginning, and I just felt like I was putting out fires every day, like, "Just putting out the
Yeah.
fires, guys," just, and it was
Yeah.
this
This is
hamster
normal.
wheel of life that I was like, "This can't be it. This can't be
Mhm.
all I'm here for."
Yeah. Goodness. I love that. Thank you for sharing those. I know a lot of people like you just got to do it even when you try it and you're like, "This feels a little silly." Like,
Mhm,
keep doing it. Cause yeah,
mhm.
I remember even my first event, I was like, "These people are, like, really sharing their like, that's
Right?
okay. I don't know you, but okay."
They're hugging
But yeah
strangers and everybody's
yeah,
crying,
like,
and I'm like,
okay, everyone's crying, everyone's sharing. I'm like,
"Right."
what is this?" But I feel like for me, events, like, opened up the door for me to communities. And
Yes.
for me, I was like, "Okay, I wanna build a community." I I think that, I have something valuable that people need to be in community about,
Mhm.
and so, yeah, that was it for me. What does joy look like for you on those hardest days where it's just like, things just coming at you a mile a minute when, using the tools feels like you're laying there maybe or standing there and you're just like, "I don't want to do anything right
Yeah.
now." Where do you
I
find the
think
joy?
yeah, I really had to learn that too. That's another good thing about starting to do practices like that is you start to learn what works for you, and yeah, some days it was like, I don't wanna journal. I wanna burn my
Mhm.
journal right now. I
Yeah.
don't wanna listen to a podcast because I don't wanna hear your fake positivity, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm,
you get in those moods and you get in those moments, but for me, it's like and I talk about it all the time, obviously, my podcast is called Creating Sunshine, but the
mhm.
difference that you feel if you can go outside and get, like, some sun for 5 minutes, I mean,
Yes.
it's proven, it's science. It's not just me saying that like, "Oh, the sun," you know? Like, what it
Yeah.
does to you and what it does to your body, what it does to your nervous system, and so when there's days that I literally feel like I can't do anything, like, I'll go sit outside on my patio for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll go for a walk, and just change my environment,
Mhm.
and I do it with my daughters now too because, I mean, they're 12 and 8 and, they're
Yeah.
not always happy and wanna do everything, and it's like sometimes
Yeah.
that we get home from school and they're already kinda bickering in the car, and I'm like, "Get your bike, get your skateboard, we're going for a walk."
Mhm.
And
Yes.
it makes a huge difference, and it's like there's so many things that you can do that are completely free, in this
Yeah.
world that it's like nature, sunshine,
Yes.
like,
Sunshine. It's right
"Mommy,
there.
I don't have money to do this." It's like, "You don't need money to do this."
Literally step outside.
Yeah.
That's it.
Put your
Yeah.
phone down. Step outside.
Yes, put the phone down. Don't
Yeah,
go to the phone and start scrolling because that's
right.
not where the
Oh,
joy is.
that's the worst.
Definitely not in this day and age. Okay, so leaving corporate, huge brave step all on its own, but doing it after surviving cancer adds a whole 'nother layer. That transition, what has it taught you so far just about what courage looks like or feels like?
It's funny because when I posted it well, the day that I left, first of all, it was the anniversary of when I started chemo,
Mhm.
and I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna reclaim this day. I'm gonna take my
Mm,
power back, and I'm gonna go turn
yes.
my letter in on the anniversary of the day that I started chemo, because I don't wanna remember that day like that anymore." And I thought when I left, I was like, "I'm gonna be a mess, I'm gonna be crying." I, like, asked my friend, "Can you come with me and just sit in the car and tell me that it's gonna be okay?" I ended up going by myself because I was like, "I'm a big girl, I could do this." But actually, when I left, surprisingly enough, I felt like this huge weight was lifted from my shoulders, which was even
Mm,
more of a confirmation that I felt like I made the right
yes.
decision. I did record a reel right when I got into the car and I posted it.
Mhm.
And like, I have worked there for 27 years. I have worked with thousands and thousands of people. And the outpouring of support
Mm,
was so much more than, like, I could
yeah.
have thought. And then I'm getting not only messages, but, like, private messages or texts like, "I wanna do it too. I wanna do"
Yes.
my daughter's, "Mom, you're starting a movement." And I was like,
Yes.
"Yeah, I don't know that I'm starting movement." I said, "But I think what it is it just" for me, I was really hesitant and I was really scared to do it because I
Mhm.
had it in my head that I had to already be making the money that I wanted to be making in order to leave my job. Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, "There's no way."
Mhm.
But then when I started to, like, reverse engineer and back up, it's like I thought, "How am I gonna be able to do that in these pockets of my time?" Like, there's just literally not enough time in the
Yeah.
day.
It's
So when
impossible.
I started talking to other women that had already made the jump and already made the leap, and this is why I feel like it's so important to find people that look like where you wanna go so that you can ask
Mhm.
them the questions, and when I started talking to them, they were like, "None of us had this all figured out. None of us were
Yeah.
making we wanted to be making in our business in order to justify leaving our corporate job." So once I heard that, I was like, "Hmm, okay, so what you're telling me
Yeah.
is that you just took
Yeah.
Obviously, you got some kind of little bit of safety net, right? But then you just figured it
Yes.
out.
Yes.
And so, really, for me, that was the big thing is like, okay, well, I can figure it out. I mean, I can do
Yeah.
anything, right? I know myself. I know my work ethic. I know that no one is going to work harder for me than me. And no one cares as much about my future as I do.
Mhm.
So let's do it.
Yes. That is so encouraging. I know for our listeners, but definitely for me too. Just to hear your perspective on it, it's just like, yes, you can work your ass off and try to match your corporate income in the pockets of your day. But I'm thinking about how like stressed I would be trying to hit that
Right.
number to be like,
Exactly.
okay, we're good now.
Right.
We
Now we're
can,
good. Now I can leave and I can put my
yeah, it's
notice
like,
in. I was just like, that's crazy.
yeah, that's a lot. Goodness. Okay. So now that you have left corporate now, what does building your business now, what does that look like? What does it represent for you?
For me, um, I feel like just starting to embody everything that I have been talking about and showing people that I want to teach them. I want to help them. I don't want anybody feeling like 2019 me, when you're feeling
Yeah.
overwhelmed and burnt out and stressed out. And like you said, community was super important. So,
Mhm.
I do this, like I have jumping back into one-on-one coaching, which is what I really,
Yes.
really loved, but I didn't have the time or the space or the capacity to take on
Mhm.
the clients because I was always working. So,
Yep.
in talking to my mentor, I'm like, I feel like I'm feeling the pull to be called back to that because working and
Yes.
talking with somebody one on one and being able to dive in and really being able to see the transformation like over 3 months is
Mhm.
so rewarding. And, so there's that. And then obviously I have my podcast, I have my community, the Sunshine Era, which is it's such a great thing when you get to be surrounded by other women who are focusing on themselves the same way that you are, and you
Yeah.
guys get to learn and you get to develop the tools and all of the things that I've taken 5, 6 years to learn. It's like
Mhm.
I want to share them. I want to give them to people. I'm not here to
Yes.
just, like, hoard them, and
No.
gatekeep them. Like, I've listened to the podcast, I've read the books, I've done the work, I've
Mhm.
attended the events, and if I don't know it, I guarantee you now with this huge network of women that I've met,
Oh,
I know
yeah.
someone else that can help you.
Mhm. Oh, 100%. 100%. Oh, goodness. Okay. So, as we're winding down, there's a woman listening right now. Of course, we said in the beginning, maybe all of our listeners right now, they're feeling that nudge that they want to change something in their life, but they have the fear, right? What is something that you would say to her right now?
I would ask you to pick up a journal, and someone just asked me to do this the other day, and close your eyes and visualize yourself 3 years from now. And what do you want your life to look like? And whatever you want your life to look like 3 years from now, we're gonna reverse engineer and figure out how do you get there.
Mm,
And if it looks exactly like it looks right now, then that's great, and I'm happy for you, and I love that for you. But if it doesn't, then what
yeah,
steps do we start doing to make a change? Woman that you see in your head 3 years from now, not only, like, you become her, I want you to surpass her.
yeah. Oh, I love that. I need to do that today. There's a lot. Me and Sarah were talking, y'all. There's a lot happening
Yep.
behind the scenes that I did not see coming for 2026.
And
And
but that's the thing
yeah.
too is because you've opened yourself up to accepting and
Yes.
to receiving, and
Mhm.
universe is gonna start to give you what you need and what you're meant to do
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
you've actually put yourself out there and done the scary thing. It's like the rest
Mhm.
is just gonna kinda take care of itself.
Right? The path will create itself, literally.
Exactly.
Literally. Goodness. Okay, so before we close, I want to give our listeners a place to land. This is something I've been doing new on the Thrive Like a Mother podcast this year. So, have anything in today's conversation with Sarah stirred something up in you? Maybe it's like that quiet voice that you know is there that is telling you this is the step you need to take and you've been ignoring it. I want you to just sit with this gently. And there's going to be a prompt coming, but we want to take one slow breath, inhale and exhale. And today I want you to ask yourself, what is my intuition trying to protect? Or what is it trying to lead me towards? And just think about that. Like Sarah said, pick up your journal, that 3-year look into the future of where you want to be. Answer that question, right? What is your intuition trying to tell you? And here's the thing, like the most powerful thing is just getting it out. Getting it out of your head, because if it's stuck up there, we can't really do much with it, but if you get it out, you say it out loud, you do a voice memo to yourself, you write it, pen and paper, whatever feels good to you, just get it out, and you don't have to actually do anything with it today. You don't have to have the full plan. Like Sarah said, trying to match your income, what you're making in corporate right now, herself and so many other women are saying, like, no, like, we figure it out. You don't need the full plan. You don't need the full path. Sometimes thriving literally just starts with acknowledging the voice, the whisper. And so, Sarah, thank you for reminding us that even after survival, there is still becoming, and that the hard things that we go through, they don't define us, but how we respond to them, what we choose to do with those things is what actually shapes us. So I want you to let the people know where to find you, and I'll put it in the show notes too.
You guys can find excuse me, you guys can find me mostly on Instagram. And then I have my own podcast, Creating Sunshine. But Instagram has all my links, all the places, all the things that I'm doing, where I'm going to be speaking, where I'm going to be attending.
Yes. Awesome. I love it. Thank you again for coming on the pod again.
Of
I feel
course.
like I feel like we just need to just every season, you just always bring just another level of
Yeah, we're
wisdom
going to do like
every
a
single
quarterly
time.
update over here.
Right? Just like, hey, where are we? Where are we this quarter? How are we doing? But just thank you. And until next time, listeners, keep trusting yourself and keep thriving like a mother.